Hi, welcome to Arkintel. Right now, a system most people never think about is reshaping daily choices. What rises to the top of your screen, what gets recommended, and how different kinds of work are being valued. If AI is doing the work faster than ever, who is quietly taking the profit? Because while AI feels like convenience, it's also changing incentives. Some skills become more valuable, others quietly fall behind. And the most important shift isn't dramatic, it's how the economy adjusts before most people notice. This isn't about machines replacing people, it's about how AI is widening the gap between winners and losers, and where you fit in that shift. Every major economic shift follows a pattern. First, it boosts productivity. Then, it changes who gets paid. Finally, it redraws who wins and who falls behind. AI is already in stage 2. According to global labor studies, nearly 40% of jobs worldwide are exposed to AI in some form. It doesn't mean millions of people disappear from the workforce overnight, but what it means is something slower and harder to notice. AI doesn't replace workers, it replaces tasks. In fact, research estimates that today's technology is technically capable of automating about 57% of current US work hours, even if real-world adoption takes time. And the tasks being automated first are the ones that sit in the middle of the job market: routine, predictable, easy to measure and standardize. Clerical work, basic analysis, customer support, entry-level white-collar roles that once helped people move up. These jobs don't vanish overnight. They quietly lose stability and value. Meanwhile, on the other side of the economy, a different effect is taking place. People who build, deploy, or manage AI systems aren't just working faster, they are gaining ground. One person can now produce the output of many. That changes bargaining power. It changes pay. It changes who gets promoted and who gets stuck. And that's how inequality starts to form quietly, not through mass layoffs, but through uneven value inside the same economy. Here's the part most people miss. Technology doesn't reward effort equally. It rewards people who can make one action count many times over. That's why AI doesn't affect everyone the same way. One software engineer using AI tools can now do the work that once required an entire team. One analyst can finish in minutes what used to take days. One creator can reach millions without an organization behind them. This isn't just a feeling, it shows up clearly in the numbers. Labor market data shows that workers with AI-related skills earn over 50% higher wages on average than workers in comparable roles without those skills. Same job title, same industry, very different pay. And that difference doesn't stop at individual raises. It changes how careers unfold over time. That means the divide isn't between jobs anymore. It's inside jobs. Two people can work in the same field, put in similar hours, and still end up on completely different financial paths, simply because one person's work scales with AI and the other's doesn't. This creates a new fault line in the economy. People whose skills grow more valuable as AI spreads, and people whose pay quietly falls behind even while working just as hard. Same economy, same technology, very different outcomes. And this gap doesn't explode overnight. It widens year after year, almost unnoticed. AI doesn't just change wages, it changes who owns the upside. And that's where the divide sharpens. The most valuable AI systems aren't owned by workers. They are owned by companies, shareholders, and platforms. Right now, a relatively small number of firms control the core pieces that make AI powerful: the largest models, the most valuable training data, and the computing infrastructure required to run them. That matters because ownership decides where profits end up. We've already seen this pattern before. Over the past decade, productivity across advanced economies kept rising, but wages barely moved. Most of the gains didn't go to workers. They flowed to capital, stocks, assets, and corporate profits. AI accelerates that imbalance. Economists estimate AI could add around $15 trillion to the global economy by 2030. That's more than the current GDP of most countries. But without changes in how gains are shared, most of that value is likely to concentrate among those who already own the systems and assets behind AI. In other words, the technology that boosts output doesn't automatically boost incomes. It boosts whoever owns the systems doing the work. This is how inequality stops being about paychecks and starts being about one who owns the engines of growth in the first place. And this isn't a distant future risk. It's already unfolding quietly as AI scales faster than ownership spreads. So, why does 2026 matter? Because that's when three forces collide. First, AI adoption becomes standard, not experimental. What once felt optional starts feeling expected. Second, job transitions fall behind the speed of automation. Skills take time to build. AI doesn't slow down to wait. And third, income growth begins to split clearly by skill level. By then, AI tools won't feel optional. They'll feel required. Workers who can't adapt fast enough won't just earn less. They'll fall behind structurally. Not because they failed, but because the system moved faster than retraining, education, and wages could realistically keep up. And the impact is already visible. Recent financial surveys show that only about 47% of adults could cover a $1,000 emergency expense using cash or savings. That means more than half would need to borrow, use credit, or sell something just to get through it. That's when inequality stops being abstract and starts showing up in rent, healthcare, and basic stability. This story isn't really about technology. It's about access. Access to skills, access to education, access to ownership. AI doesn't create inequality on its own. It magnifies whatever inequality is already there. The question isn't whether AI will reshape the economy. That's already happening. The real question is where those gains end up and whether societies widen opportunity or allow the divide to harden. Because in the end, this isn't about machines replacing people. It's about who the economy continues to work for, and that includes you. As AI becomes part of everyday life, that answer becomes harder to ignore. If you found this video insightful, check out The Fake Layoffs, where we break down how companies are using AI as an excuse for layoffs driven by cost cutting and slowing demand, not real automation. Click the video to watch now.